Hello everyone and welcome to another car profile. This week we are looking at the BMW M3 GT 2011. Now this car first appeared in GT6 and is actually built towards the GT2 regulations that were around at the time. The BMW M3 GT actually won the Nürburgring 24-hour race and was actually quite dominant in a lot of races it did actually take part in. It looks fantastic as well, if I'm honest. It really does look good. Now, the drivetrain of the car is FR, with the engine size being a 4-litre V8. So that is quite a big engine in there, really. And the horsepower is 499, followed by a weight of 1,245 kilograms. Now, in terms of the balance of performance, of course, because it is a Group 3 car, we do have to make some changes here. So the horsepower actually goes up with this car. So it goes from 499 to 555, which is a 111% increase. And the weight also increases from 1,245 kilos all the way up to 1,322, which is a 107% increase. In terms of the torque, it is 65.6 kilograms of force. So we'll see how that compares in the acceleration test we do a little bit later on. Now, just before we jump to the circuits, let's have a look at the scores. And they are max speed 6.7, acceleration 5.3, braking 3.9, cornering 3.9, and stability 6.4. And as you can see in the top right hand side, you absolutely rev the nuts out of this car. You go to the very limit of the rev limiter to get the most out of the car. Without further ado though, let's jump to Dragontrail Seaside first of all, and let's have a little look at how the car handles at that circuit. So at Dragontrail Seaside, of course, we are testing straight line speed and the curbs, whether the car is stable over those, and whether it's just stable in general. Going into this first corner, braking was about average, I'd say. It's about where I'd normally brake, and the car seemed to handle it absolutely fine. Going through here, the car is fine, and I did go over that curb quite a lot there. The car does bottom out, so do be careful of that. It does get a little bit of a wiggle when it does bottom out, but absolutely fine. Not as much understeer as other cars there, through the right-handed kink, and into here. We just missed the apex just by a tiny bit there. But we accelerate out, and you can see there's no real dramas with that rear end. It seems very stable, this car. Into the left-hander we go, and just a tiny bit of understeer. It's sort of the FR understeer which is expected. It's not over understeering, if that makes any sense. It's not understeering a lot, or more than I would expect here. We head down towards the chicane. Of course, we're carrying a lot more power, but we also are carrying a little bit more weight. So I found that into this hairpin I had to brake a little bit earlier than normal. Nothing major, but it was something to note. And I do get no oversteer there at all. No oversteer. Easy acceleration through that corner. And the chicane of death, well, you could attack this for days. It was absolutely stable as you like through there. Every single lap was bob on. I started actually really attacking it later on in the session, actually. Really attacking it, see how much I could push. I never hit it once. It never went unstable once through that entire section. So stability is very much there with this car. As you can imagine, it's got a massive wing on the back. It does have a front splitter as well. So that downforce and the additional weight probably helping with stability there. We get a 37.8 there, so we are in the 37s here, and we just jumped to our optimal, which is a 37.7. Now, next week, or the next time we show a car profile, you will have leaderboards on the screen, I promise you that. But now let's jump to Interlagos, and here we are testing handling. Obviously, we've got a lot of slow speed sections there, especially on the racing hard tyres. It's a bit more to do with handling. We've got a little bit of power up the hill, curves, undulations, all affected here. Going through the centre S, nothing really major. I did experience a little bit of understeer here, a little bit more than I would expect. As long as I used the curb, I got round fine. Otherwise, I would need a significant lift there. You can see I'm a 10th down on my absolute best at the moment. But as I said, as I've always said in these car profiles, it's just my best lap I show, and we use the optimum. Going through here, I had no real issues touching that dark green AstroTurf. You touch it, you did get a little bit slidey, but nothing major. Like, you could easily catch it. Coming up to this right-hander, sorry. I found that the car would understeer a little bit, but it did bring itself back. So it seems that there is a little bit of understeer there, but it's not too much. So just be aware of that. In terms of oversteer, though, which is what you would experience on this corner, absolutely none, really. You get a tiny bit of rotation, nothing major. It just catches itself. Absolutely superb car. Into the right-hander we go. Now, I went to first gear here. I actually found that throughout the session, that second was probably better. It just made the car a little bit more stable, and I didn't lose any time from it, so I did start doing that in the future. In to the final corner here, and I just plant my foot here, and I'm not really worrying about oversteer. So this car, very similar to the Aston Martin, I would say. If you want a beginner car to get going with, this is actually faster than the Aston Martin so far. So if you want a beginner car, I'd actually highly recommend this BMW M3 GT. It's absolutely fantastic. We get a 31.6 there. My optimum's down at 31.5. I'm not sure what my optimum finished at. I think it was a 0.4. Yes, it was. Just in the 0.4s there. So we're slightly slower than the Ford, but slightly faster than the Aston Martin. Obviously, the next circuit is going to be Suzuka. This is a balanced circuit, I would say. Mixture of power and handling here. So it gives us a good overall benchmark. Now, in terms of trail braking, which is the first corner is perfect for, it does understeer a little bit with trail braking, which I think is expected, to be honest. Very controllable. You can see my first lap, a 2:02. That's because I went off on that first corner. Same for lap 3 as well. I went flying off on that first corner. You can see I'm just balancing the throttle through these corners, and the car's handling very well, to be honest with you. No real dramas with this car. As I say, very stable car. Going through here, I felt I could push a little bit more. Some cars get a bit oversteery. You can see how close I get to the edge there, but no worries, no drama. Just carry on. Into the Tidgney 1 here, and into Tidgney 2. I actually found I could be very aggressive here, even turn it in and just plant my foot. You see there, look, planted it so early, the car is just flat. Absolutely flat. Now, the hairpin coming up here, the left-hander, I did struggle a little bit with the braking here, and a little bit with what gear I should be in, but first was the best, and just accelerate out there as fast as possible. You can see there, I lost a little bit of time, but gained it back straight away, because the car just catches itself with any form of oversteer. Obviously, I could be a bit quicker if I didn't have that oversteer, but I have 10 laps, so I try and push as hard as I can with these cars, really get a benchmark down there. Now, spoon, I did find I was running a little bit wide there. You see I do it again here. Now, I dropped to second gear to try and get the car around, and we accelerate into third gear, and we carry on now up towards 130R. So this is our fastest lap here, of course. We are in the 59s already. We're trying to aim for those 58s where the Ford GT just got in last time we did a car profile. You can see we're up here through 130R, absolutely no problem really, and into the braking zone here. Stable as anything. In fact, the exit of this chicane was really nice with this car. I felt I could turn and have no understeer and still accelerate out absolutely fine. So no drama lap there really with the BMW M3 GT. 59.4 there. I think I go down to a 59.2 in terms of optimum. As I say, I was pushing hard here. So not too bad for the BMW. It's actually surprised me quite a lot, this car. It seems faster than I first realised, or would have imagined, which is good. It is really good. So here we go with our acceleration test first of all, then tyres and fuel. Traction control 1 to get going, and you can see instantly traction control turns itself off there even before we get to second gear, but we turn it off when we hit second gear, and our 0 to 100 time is 7.433. Quite a slow time, to be honest, in terms of acceleration. That long second gear, I think, was the cause of that potentially. I'm not too sure. But now, of course, we're going to test tyres and fuel. So these are times 10 in a custom race. So you can try this out yourself if you so wish. And you can see there, laps remaining is not very high, but obviously it'll build itself up a little bit. We rev it non-stop from the start of the race until the end. Now, I said earlier on, this car, you have to rev the nuts out of it. You do indeed have to do that. I know with a Ford, a lot of people have said that I didn't have to rev it as much. So, you know, I could have maybe saved a little bit of fuel there, potentially, and not lost a lot of speed. However, it's very tiny amounts there. I was obviously just making sure I was hitting the peak performance of the car. Same thing I'm going to do with this car. This car is definitely 100% rev to the limit. I promise you that. Now, into the slow stuff. Obviously, we're on racing soft tyres this time, which did transform the car a little bit. The understeer went instantly. So, if you remember in Interlagos, I was saying like the third turn, the long left, the car would understeer a bit if I didn't use the curbs. With these soft tyres, it doesn't do that. It just grips and goes round. So, kind of nice. Maybe something to look forward to using at some more handling circuits if racing soft tyres are available. It might just be a nice little different car to use. We accelerate out of here, and we're just going to advance to lap 4. There we go, nice and easy. And you can see our fuel is very, very low. In fact, I was so worried I did the Aston Martin wrong. I actually retested the Aston Martin straight after this just to test. But I didn't, although I got a little bit less fuel than when I did the other test previously, but that's neither here nor there. But you can see here 4% on the fuel, so very low there. Very, very low, not good on fuel. And tyres, it was actually okay on tyres there. You can see that. Sorry about the dark bits. I forgot to go to bumper cam, so you have that instead. 74, 82, 69, 75. Not too shabby. The lap times weren't really dropping that much, to be fair. And in terms of total time, actually, it's very close to the Aston. It was a 6:10 in the end. It should just appear. There you go. Very, very close. Just a little bit quicker there. So the BMW really showing us here that it's got very good stability. The power's not really there. However, the handling, I think it handles itself very well. In terms of stability, it seems spot on here. Beginner car, I'd actually rate this over the Aston because it's a little bit faster. So if you do want to use this, absolutely go for it. Now, in terms of leaderboards and spreadsheets, if you're watching this way in the future, a spreadsheet will be in the description. If it's not, a spreadsheet will be there soon. And obviously, as I've said earlier, any tables and data and all that good stuff will be featured in future car profiles from here on out. I've been designing it or looking at it right this moment. But that's going to be it for me in terms of this car profile. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll look forward to seeing you in more car profiles, videos or streams very soon.